Greetings, folks. Channel is DC Investing. I've reached financial independence, and I want to talk about topics that I think might help others become financially independent. So today the topic is on how to invest in silver. And various folks is just one asset among many that could help along the process. But there are folks out there who don't know what you can do if you want to invest in silver. So I'm going to talk about the various methods. The first thing you can do is actually invest in physical silver, where you actually have the metal itself, and you need to find someone or some method to obtain that. Probably the easiest way is to look up a local coin dealer. You probably look in the internet to find a local coin shop. They buy and sell silver. I think pawn shops deal in silver sometimes. You probably have to be a little more careful with those. You could look up a local classified ads type thing. There's folks that buy and sell silver, but just be careful because there could be fraudulent silver out there. So, just be aware. So if you want to buy the physical metal, look up your local coin shop. They'll have some. You can go in and choose coins. There's various denominations, various countries. There's junk silver, which used to be circulated in America and other countries, which are smaller amounts. I mean, smaller coins like dimes, quarters, nickels, that sort of thing. I think you can also buy it from Costco as well, more recently. And Costco has some pretty good rates. You get a discount at Costco. Well, not a discount, but you can use a credit card with it. And if you have like a 2% cashback card, that can save you a little bit. And if you're an ambassador or something, I think you can get a 2% rebate on that. So that can help you on your purchase from Costco. Just be careful about sales tax. If they charge sales tax, don't get it. It's not worth it. So those are some of your options. And if you're buying physical metal, you have to be aware of both the spot price and the premium. So spot, whenever you go to a local coin shop, you want to know what the spot price is, which is you can look up online. That's the daily price of precious metal like silver. The premium is what the coin shop is going to charge you above the spot price. And that price can be all over the place. So one of the things, if you're dealing with physical metal, just know that if you buy it from a coin shop, you're going to pay a little bit over premium. And if you sold it back to the coin shop on the same day, they will buy it back from you a little under premium. And, a little under spot. So that difference can be pretty substantial from a percentage basis. So just be aware that you have to take that into account. And on something like silver, the price right now is something like $38 or something. If you have $1.50 premium, that's a pretty good percentage that you have to pay extra over the price of silver. And sometimes the premiums get much higher. And then if you were to sell your silver back again, you'd have $1.50 or $2 or something under the spot price that they would pay for it. So to make money off of your physical purchase, you have to account for that premium that's in there, what they're going to charge you to get the physical metal, and how far under you'll get that from the physical metal. And so there's a good example of that. In the depths of 2020, I had heard that the spot price of silver had gone down significantly. And so I went to a local coin shop with cash in hand. I think silver might have hit $12 at that time. So I thought, well, it's probably safer than keeping it in a bank. So I took some cash there and wanted to buy silver at the spot price. They wouldn't sell it to me at the spot price. They said, "We do not believe that this is the correct price. We'll sell you silver, but you're going to have to pay like $5 above the spot, $5 to $6. So that would have put it back at $18 for silver, when really the spot price was $12. So I couldn't buy it at the price that the spot price said it was. And they were right, because that wasn't the correct price for silver. So I can't fault them for that. But I was not able to buy silver at the low price and take advantage of what happened. So just be aware that the dealers, they're individuals, they're people, and sometimes those premiums do not reflect the spot price. They can be higher or lower, so just be aware of that. Now, the benefit to having physical metal is that you own it, you can move it. It's done at a bank, it's not fiat. So, if everything falls apart around you, you still have this metal. And the idea is that hopefully you have something to barter with. Whether or not that may work or not, it's hard to say, but that's kind of about the physical market. So I mentioned that on the depths of 2020, the spot price went way down, but I couldn't get physical metal at that price. So they have what's called paper silver. And had I known at the time about these extra instruments, I could have taken advantage of this. But this is something I learned along the process, along the way. So paper silver is a method of buying and selling the metal through an exchange or ETF. I think the true form of that is the COMEX in New York or the LBMA in London. They have contracts where you're bidding on silver. So that's the ultimate paper silver. But for most of us, there are a couple of ETFs that people use. Probably the most famous one is called SLV. That one's done by JP Morgan. And there's folks in the silver industry that say they don't quite trust JP Morgan with this. There's thoughts that JP Morgan actually uses this ETF to sort of keep the price of silver where JP Morgan wants it. That SLV may not always own the silver that they say they do. So, it's still the largest one out there, but there's some shenanigans. And if you look up their report or the contract, there's some questionable verbiage in there about what happens in a silver squeeze. Can they just give you cash instead of metal, and all kinds of other interesting shenanigans? So be careful about that one. A lot of folks in the precious metal community, instead of getting SLV, they like PSLV. So that's Paul, Silver, L, Larry, Victor. And this is a company called Sprott, and it is up in Canada is where it's based at. And the principle or the thought behind PSLV, the Sprott company, is they're much better on actually keeping the metal in hand that they say they do. So a lot of the folks in the precious metal community actually like PSLV much more than they like SLV. But you can choose which it is that you are interested in. And so if I had known about the ETFs at that low of 2020, I could have just bought the ETF, and they did trade at the 12 bucks a share or the lows on COVID timeframe. And what's interesting is over the next while, there was some scarcity in the precious metals, and the price of silver doubled in like 3 months or 4 months or something like that. So whereas I couldn't get the price in the physical metal market from my local coin shop, had I been able to just buy paper silver, I could have doubled the money and then eventually sold off the ETF and then bought my own silver or something. So that is the first thing to know, is it might be hard to get the price you want from your local coin shop when weird stuff's going on in the markets. Whereas if you buy an ETF, they just trade more at the spot price. So I think PSLV sometimes trades at a discount to the metal they have on hand. I don't know, there's some interesting shenanigans. You can look it up if you're more interested. But in general, PSLV I would think is a better option than SLV. So that's the way to buy silver in an ETF if you would like to play that precious metal game. So as I mentioned, the price for silver went down quite a bit in the COVID lows. And one of the thoughts for that is that when margin calls happen out there, people sell what they can sell, not what they want to sell. So a bunch of stocks went way down, people got margin called, and some of the thought was they just sold whatever they wanted to. So the price of gold went down, the price of silver went down, because people can turn those assets into cash a lot easier than they could a stock or something. So in market crashes, sometimes you would expect the price of silver or gold to go up, but in reality, they go down first sometimes because people are just selling whatever they can. So know that about the precious metals, that they can do weird things sometimes, but then they recover. And like I said, the price of silver doubled within a short period of time. It actually went up quicker and faster than the overall stock market did as the things recovered. And so, it was definitely a good time to purchase silver right at that 2020 low when COVID was happening. So, you know, sometimes the price of silver does what you expect it to. Sometimes it doesn't. People are thinking, is it a monetary metal or is it an industrial metal? Is it both? Um, what I've observed is it seems like the price of silver behaves more closely to what the industry is going to do with it, as opposed to being purely, a monetary metal, meaning money. But it does weird things at different times. So thus far we've gone over how to buy it, the physical metal, how to buy the paper metal. But there's another way to invest in silver, and that is to buy the miners that mine the metal. And so there are a few ETFs that a lot of folks are aware of and know. The first one is SIL. I think this fund is run by JP Morgan, but I can't remember. Maybe it's Global X or something. But basically, SIL purchases big silver miners. So that's a way to invest in silver, but on a larger scale. So again, SIL. And then there's another firm called SILJ, and this is the junior miner. So J stands for junior. And so one of the thoughts is, early in a precious metal boom, the larger miners may do better, but then later, the junior miners may do even better, because they kind of, the difference in the price of silver causes the junior miners to go up even more than the mega miners. So those two ETFs get played a lot. It's a way to diversify yourself over a bunch of different miners. So again, that was SIL, and then SILJ. And then recently, I think there's a new one that was done by Sprott that I've seen. It's SLVR. SLVR. So I think that's some miners and some metal. So you might want to take a look at that. But this is a way to kind of play the miner game. And the thinking behind that is that if the price of silver goes up, you get an amplified response from the silver miners, because they have fixed costs, but the price of metal going up actually makes their income move really rapidly. So that's kind of a way you can actually buy the individual silver miners themselves. There's various tickers that you can look up. I'm not going to give the ones that I've seen, because sometimes they're frustrating. Um, they talk about miners. There's an adage that says, a miner is just a liar standing over a hole. And mining is a difficult business because you're always depleting your asset. You have costs. You have to pay the labor, pay for fuel, pay for machinery. So it can be a tough business. But in the right market conditions, it can do really well. And there's been times in the past history where the price of silver has gone up so much that you've doubled, tripled, quadrupled, 10-bagged your money, depending on what's going on. So, in your route to financial independence, precious metals are an asset. They're interesting. They are a diversifier, so that if you own these, they can behave inversely to other parts of the market. So, you need it for industry. If it gets scarce, the prices are going to go up. If there's plenty of it out there, the price will go down. And some folks say that, hey, just to kind of, diversify yourself, maybe own 5% of a precious metal type system, maybe 10% of your overall allocation, and you can diversify between gold, silver, maybe some copper. I don't know. It's just another asset that you can use in your overall portfolio to um, to learn about and benefit from. Now, lately, silver has been on a boom. It's up, I think, even more than the price of gold this year. I think it's up 30 to 40% or something. I know it kind of went down recently just a little bit, but it's up for this year. So strategically timing when you buy and sell this asset can make a big difference in your overall finances. And at some points in the past, silver has wildly shot up and done really well. So just thought I'd go over some of the things that I've learned about how you can trade this precious metal. You can buy it directly from a coin shop or a pawn shop or Costco. You can buy paper versions of it, ETFs that hold the metal, which is SLV or PSLV. Those are some of the popular ones. You can buy the miners, SIL, SILJ, SLVR. I'm sure there's some others out there too, but overall, these are just some different methods that there are to get involved in the precious metal silver market, and something that you can use to kind of diversify your own portfolios out across some different assets. So, let me know in the comments down below, have you ever bought and sold silver? Have you ever owned the paper ETFs or the miners? What has been your results? If you learned anything from it, and just share with this community. And again, like, subscribe. I will definitely talk about interesting topics that can help for your journey towards financial independence. Again, this is DC Investing. We'll see you later.